Hey everybody, I'm back with part 2. In the last video, I showed you how to drape this. So in today's tutorial, I will show you 4 ways how to sew the inside of this bustier. Let's get into this. The first thing I will do is mark around the underbust so I can make the pattern. This is how the pattern will look. For method 1, I will be using fusible bonding web, light interfacing, and 1 layer of polyester batting. First, I will lay the interfacing glue side up, then put the polyester batting on top. After that, put another piece of interfacing glue side down and press it all around like this. 1 layer is good enough because when you put the interfacing on top, it will get thicker. So you don't want this to be too thick. If it's too thick, it will give you a hard time when it's time to sew the princess line. Trace around the pattern, then cut it out. Next, put the fusible bonding web on top. Then put the bra pad on top of that. When you put the pad on top, make sure it's not on the seam allowance. If it is, then just trim it off. After that, press it down till it's glued together. So I'm going to put the edge of the foot right here and sew all around 1/4. Let's sew. This is how the bra cup looks. After that, I sewed the rigilene boning. You could put more if you want. There's a couple of ways to structure the lining when it comes to boning that has no casing. The first way is to put the light interfacing on the front pieces separately. Then sew the 2 front pieces together. After that, put your rigilene boning on the princess line. Then cut the interfacing into strips and cover the rigilene boning. I will show you what that looks like soon. The other way is to not put the interfacing first. Just sew the 2 pieces together, then sew the rigilene boning on the princess line. After that, then you can cover the 2 pieces with 1 whole piece of light interfacing. These options depend on how heavy the main fabric is. If the main fabric is a heavyweight fabric, then don't structure the lining with a whole piece of light interfacing because it will look too bulky. You want it to be structured but also smooth and neat. So here is a sample. Let's say you don't have enough interfacing to cover this up. You can cut it into 2 pieces or you can cut it into strips. Here is a strip right here. You can just cover the boning. You don't have to do anything else. This is the main fabric. It's called metallic brocade. As you can see, it's interfaced. This brocade is actually soft, but there are some brocades that are heavyweight. There are some people that don't like their bustiers so structured, and that's okay because everything doesn't have to be structured. It depends on what look you're looking for. Just keep in mind when you're sewing the rigilene boning, you want to cover it up with interfacing strips so it doesn't show in the front of the main fabric, especially if you're using lightweight satin. The next step is to sew a 1/2 inch all around here, then clip here and here on the front and back where the V stops. After that, I will insert a V-wire separator. The V-wire looks like this. There are different shapes and sizes. I'm using this size. Also, there are different ways to sew this. So in this video, I will show you this technique for all the methods. If you want me to make a video on different ways to sew a V-wire, let me know in the comments. I'm going to sew 1/4 from this 1/2 inch seam allowance line on both sides. I will stop right here where it's clipped. That's where the V stops. This is the other side. For this V-wire method, you will not have a stitch line in the front. Next, flip the fabric over and put the V-wire inside the 1/4 casing, just like this. Double check to make sure it's in the casing. Also make sure you have about 1/4 space from where the V stops. Try not to put it all the way inside. If it's too tight, it will have some wrinkles in the front and we don't want that. After that, use a thread that matches your fabric and sew a stitch in a ditch right underneath the V-wire. Stitch about 3/4 to 1 inch so that the V-wire doesn't come out the casing. Try to match the center front and center back with a pin before sewing so you don't see the stitch in the back. This is how method 1 looks. I absolutely love brocade fabric. It's my top 5 list of fabrics. Next up is method 2. For this method, I will be using light interfacing, fusible fleece, and fusible bonding web. I will lay one piece of fusible fleece glue side up and put another piece glue side down, then press it down like this. 2 layers of fusible fleece is good enough. I wouldn't use 3 layers. It'll be too thick on the princess line. Trace out your pieces, then put a piece of fusible bonding web on top. Then put the fusible fleece on top of that and press it down till it's glued together. After that, sew around the fusible fleece like I did in method 1. From there, put your rigilene boning. You can decide if you want to cover the whole front of your bustier with light interfacing or if you want to cover only the bra pad and then put strips to cover the rigilene boning. It's all up to you. So this is how method 2 looks. I put the V-wire in like I did in method 1. Which one do you like, method 1 or method 2? Let me know in the comments. Next is method 3. I have 2 sizes of bra cups. This one is a size 38. As you can see, it's too small. And this one is a size 40 and it's too big. So I used the big one because you can always cut it smaller. Let me show you. The first thing I did was pin all around the bottom of the cup to the lining. After that, I pinned it on the side so I can make sure that it's neat all around. I laid it flat all around like this. Then from there, I look to see where I need to cut, so I mark the line on the cup, matching the seam allowance on the lining. I'd rather mark it than freehand it because if I just freehand this, I can make a mistake and cut it wrong, and I don't want to take that chance. So what I like to do is mark it with a pencil. Once it's marked all around, then I can start cutting. I noticed I had to cut a little bit more on the front because I couldn't see the seam allowance line. You want to make sure the bra cup is not touching around the seam allowance. Once you can see all around the seam allowance, then you can sew 1/4 all around the cup. Let's sew. This is how the front looks and this is the back. After that, I sewed the rigilene boning. Now someone asked me, can you use fusible fleece to cover the whole front of the bustier instead of using the light interfacing? The answer is yes, you can, but it has to be a really light fusible fleece, not the heavy one. And the main fabric has to be a light fabric, for an example, satin, not bridal satin or Duchess satin. Those satins are stiff, heavy satins. There are different types of satin fabrics. The fabric I'm using for this method is cotton. I don't think any fabric heavier than cotton would work. It would be too bulky. The fusible fleece stretches a little when you apply heat to it. You have to pull it so it wraps around the front of the bustier, and I think it's best to use a dress form for this. This is how method 3 looks. I like both methods, but to be honest, if I had to choose between light interfacing or fusible fleece, I would choose light interfacing. Guys, how do you feel about the fusible fleece? Do you like it? Let me know, I'm curious. Next up is method 4. For this method, I will use cotton woven interfacing, rigilene boning, a hemostat tool, and a pointy tweezer. I scraped the white piece off and put it in the hemostat. The hemostat has a lock right here, so when you put the rigilene boning inside, it locks it in place. So you can pull the boning till it starts to curve like this. Now I'm going to keep it real with you guys. When you're doing this method, you can get a blister if you pull it back too far. You can't be in a rush to do this because you can get a blister, and I know nobody likes the way a blister feels. I got it because I was pulling it too far back and I was rushing. Silly me, I should have slowed down. Lesson learned. But I was trying to get this video out. The things I do for you guys. Anyway, let's get back to this. So you're going to sew the rigilene boning on the princess line first. Then take one of the curved boning and sew it on the top. 1/8 or 3/16 away from the seam allowance. Let's sew. If you have excess, then cut it off and sew another one on the bottom. This time sew directly on the line like this. Put a straight rigilene boning across the bust line. When you're sewing this part, make sure you are pulling the fabric towards you so the fabric doesn't bunch up. Let's sew. For the sides, use 2 of the straight ones. Mark where you want it to stop, then cut the piece off. You can curve it a little like this. Let's sew. Next, sew a curved one on the top and bottom like this. After that, close the top and bottom. Let's sew. The next step is to mold the bust cup. Put it on top of a bust ham and press it with a cloth. The rigilene boning will curve from the heat. Put a layer of fusible bonding web on top. Then put a piece of polyester batting. After that, put the light interfacing and press it with an iron. This is how method 4 looks. I really love these fabrics. Which method was your favorite? If you learned something from this video, then please give this video a like and share it so it can help other creators. Do you want to learn how to drape this bustier? Then click or tap on the screen right here. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to practice, practice, practice. Bye, everybody.